make a pork chop dinner here at the Young's house. Happy weekend. I hope you all are having a great day today. And if you're not, hopefully I can brighten up your day with this here recipe. I'm turning these pork chops into a mustard fried pork chop that's so easy to make. Yes, and we're gonna make up some homemade potatoes, mashed potatoes. So I got some Idaho potatoes here. And we're gonna also make some broccoli and cheese, and I'll show you how to make the cheese sauce. So for that cheese sauce, you're gonna need a little bit of milk, some butter, and some American cheese. I have yellow American cheese here. You're gonna need vegetable oil so we can fry the pork chops or whatever kind of oil you use. I have some spices so everything can come together and taste absolutely amazing. We got salt, pepper, garlic and onion powder, and some paprika. And I have some all-purpose flour so we can dredge our pork chops. Make sure your hands are clean. Let's make a pork chop dinner. Fried pork chops. One of the first things I always like to do is I like to take my kitchen shears and cut a little slit into the pork chops, okay? Just right there, because what will naturally happen is once that pork chop begins to fry up, the fat kind of seizes up like this, and it makes your pork chop do like this in the pan. And we want it to lay flat. And so if we want it to lay flat, you put this little cut in it, and it'll lay flat for you all the time. So I'm going to take my time to do that with each and every one of them, just like so. And then we're going to come back and season them real good. Go ahead and season our pork chops and give them some good flavor. I'm going to be seasoning both sides of the pork chops, and then I'm going to let these spices really seep down into this pork chop for about 15 minutes before I even begin to cook it, okay? So now there's the salt. We're going to use onion and garlic powder, and on purpose, we're using a nice amount because you want that flavor. This is a paprika, and it's not smoked. Let's flip it over and do the same thing. On the other side. Tell me, when's the last time you all had a fried pork chop? A fried pork chop that was juicy in the inside, crispy on the outside, and it had a ton of flavor. I want to hear from everybody in the comment section. Do you eat pork chops? I want to hear from everybody. Next, we're going to put your favorite mustard right onto these pork chops, okay? And you can even do the mustard before you do the spices. It's really up to you. But this is how I do mine. You don't have to use a lot. A little bit of the mustard goes a long way. Just make sure that that mustard is spread onto both sides of the pork chop. And I'm being very gentle so I'm not taking the lovely spices off that I put on here. Go ahead and mustard the other side, and then we'll let it set for about 10 more minutes. Off my broccoli. And so now I'm going to break the broccoli down. You can cut off as much of the stem off as you want, or leave as much on as you want. Bite-sized pieces, not too big, okay? So like this piece is way too big. Just gonna break it down a little bit, throw it right into my pan. And in my pan, I'm gonna put some water in here, some chicken bouillon powder to give the broccoli some great flavor, and then we're gonna cook it. Just a little bit of water in this pan. Watch me finish cutting my broccoli up. Just like this, lovely. How many of you love broccoli? There's people out there that's not a fan of broccoli. I love broccoli and cauliflower. But if I had the choice, or choose which one I like the most, I would definitely say cauliflower. And I don't know why I don't make it enough. I need to make cauliflower more around here because I love it. You could just steam it and it's good to me. I ain't got to season it, don't have to do nothing to it. I love cauliflower. I think I might pick some up tomorrow and cook it for dinner. Go ahead and put that little bit of water in here so you can kind of get the broccoli going, and that flavor. The flavor is going to come from chicken bouillon powder. All right, I'm going to put some foil on here and just let it cook. And when it gets to what I'm looking for, that's when we'll come back and make a lovely cheese sauce that is so easy. And this cheese sauce really amps up the flavor of this broccoli. Is cooking, the pork chops are marinating, and so now I got to peel up some potatoes. Because we're making mashed potatoes, let's get them nice and peeled. We're going to chop them down. I'm going to rinse them until the water runs nice and clear, and then I'm going to put these into cold water. I'm going to salt the water and cook these potatoes for about 25 minutes until they're nice and pork tender. I like to chop my potatoes. Once it's nice and peeled, then I'll double back this way, just a chop like that. Like I said, a good 25 minutes. Oh, they'll get fork tender. Sure they will. Okay, just like this. I'll probably be using about 4 pounds today of potatoes. I don't know, because these are, look at, these are huge. I think these are baker potatoes. These are definitely baker potatoes. that you would bake in the oven, but we're gonna make some good mashed potatoes out of it. Go ahead and get our potatoes right into this pan, but we're gonna rinse them very well. Rinse off a lot of that starch, okay? I find when you rinse them about 4 times with some cold water, they mash up even better. Let's go ahead and take this time to take our pork chops that we marinated with the spices and the mustard. I'm gonna give it a nice dredge. I'm using all-purpose flour, and on purpose, I'm gonna shake that off. Because if you don't, that extra flour that falls in the bottom of your pan, it will burn in the bottom of your pan and give your pork chops like a burnt taste. We're not looking for that. So right before it goes into the pan, shakety, just like that, okay? Let's do all of them. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and get our pork chops right into this oil, nice and gently, and don't bother it. Once you get it in that pan, leave it alone. Once you see, you'll be able to see a golden brown ring towards the bottom. That's always going to be your indication to give it a nice flip over. But until it forms a crust, leave it be. I have this on a medium-high heat. Don't turn it up too high. Flip these things over. They sure are smelling good, I tell you that. Oh, yep, that's what I'm looking for. And I love that golden color where the mustard almost shines through, you know, the batter. It's lovely. Are you kidding me? You're going to get that just like this if you just leave it alone and don't bother. Let me show you how I make this cheese sauce. That is so good. All right, I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of butter in here. I got some nice sweet cream butter. It can be salted or unsalted, whatever butter you use, okay? Once we have that in there, I'm using American cheese, single pieces. I love to use yellow American cheese because it melts. It's creamy, it's dreamy every time. And when I tell you I'm going to use like just a splash of milk, I'm going to use just a splash, and that'll help to make this cheese sauce nice and creamy. Yes, it looks like I'm using a lot of cheese, but I want some cheese sauce. So that requires me to use a couple pieces. Now we're going to put that splash of milk that I spoke of right on here. Not too much, but get you some on there. I'm going to cover this with foil. I'm not going to stir it up right now. Cover it with foil. Once the cheese and the butter begins to melt, you pretty much can turn it off, okay? We have it. You see that I have a cooling rack here that's going to allow the oil to drain, and then underneath is just a cookie sheet. All right, I'm going to grab these things up. Ooh, just like this. Oh, yep, that's just what I'm looking for. I'm going to get it right onto here and start our other batch. Yes, are you kidding me? Put these other 2 down. Our potatoes are just about ready to give them a nice drain, and then we're going to mix them up. How quick was that? Easy, simple dinner for Friday, and you can make it just like this. Let's check in on our broccoli. It sure smells good. Sure it does. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? Yes! That's what I'm looking for, baby. When I tell you it's good, take that broccoli and cheese and put it over top of a baked potato. We do that a lot. But this is how you're going to love your broccoli in this cheese sauce. And it was so easy to make. Let's go ahead and make our mashed potatoes. My butter is always going to be at room temperature. Whether it's salted or unsalted, just get you some in there. I'm going to be honest, a whole stick goes in for me. The milk, it has to be warm. If you're using cold milk, shame on you. Right? Get you some in there. Don't season it with salt until the last minute. Now, if I had some fresh garlic, I would be boiling a fresh garlic clove in with the potatoes, but I didn't have it, so we're settling for garlic powder. Let's blend this. Potatoes are nice and creamy, and so now I can add the salt. What I find is if you put the salt in too early, you'll turn your potatoes like a gummy texture. That's what I call potatoes. I might even put some more butter in these things. Look at that. Now, if it was the holiday, I'm using evaporated milk. Sure I am, because it makes it nice and rich. But these right here, these will be perfect for our Friday night. Just put the fried pork chop right on top of my mashed potatoes. That's how I'm eating it. Last batch here, I'm going to give this a nice turn over. We're waiting on these. This one will cook a little bit longer because it's really thick pork chop. Listen to me. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you ain't subscribed, what you waiting on? Tell your family and friends. Tell the world what Gina's doing in this kitchen on a daily. Thank you on today for this meal, your love, your hedge of protection. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Amen. Amen. Once again to my prayer. You stay tuned because we're going to taste this. Look at this. Can you zoom in so they can see? They got to see this up close. Oh, yes. That's it. wants a bite. You want a bite? I'm going to give you some. Yeah. First thing I'm going in for. I want the mashed potatoes, and I'm going to drag it through that broccoli and cheese. Just like I knew it would be. And now we're going in for the pork chop. Oh, it cut like butter. I want some mashed potatoes right on top of that pork chop.